I can't with this show. Rob is such an idiot.
No, I think he did a smart move for himself last night. Maybe not the traitors, but for himself.
What do you think, Channel Surfers? We're going to jump into this argument we cannot settle on today's podcast. Traitors, Season 4, Episode 6, Planning a Coup. Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the hosts side by side. Channel Surfers, let's ride.
Happy Friday, Channel Surfers, and welcome to Remote Reality. I'm Lauren, your friend and attorney host who loves to overanalyze everything, including our favorite reality TV shows.
And this is Dee, her paralegal and smartass sidekick, co-host, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever that thing is. We've been doing this since April, the podcast, and we've been doing our YouTube channel since June. We are floored. We are absolutely floored by how many of you have liked and subscribed to YouTube, followed us on TikTok. We could use some 5 stars and comments on the Apple Podcast and Spotify. That'd be cool. But we appreciate it so much.
We get so excited. We check it every day.
20 new Channel Surfers, and that is huge, guys. We are giddy. We are talking about it every day. We're messaging you guys. We're in the comments. It's just so much fun. And we just so appreciate you watching our favorite shows with us. So if you haven't already, I'm going to point, I think it's up here. Click this link if you're on YouTube to like and subscribe.
I usually think it's down here.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Oh, D. This episode of Traitors.
No, wait, before you get into all of that, are you wearing the Traitors shirt that we have?
No.
Why? Are you?
I don't know where it is. So, last Friday I had it on, and as we talked about in our Sister Wives episode, after we finished recording, I went to a dive bar with my friend. She wanted to go see this musician. And I don't know where I put it when I got home. It's probably in a laundry basket, just waiting for centuries for me to get to it.
Did you wear your cape as well?
No, but funny story. So, I was like, oh, my house people are here. We got to wait a minute before I can come upstairs and record. So I come upstairs. I'm like, okay, it's safe. I start getting dressed. I close my door. And then I hear the vacuum upstairs. I'm like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then there's a knock on the door. And I'm sitting there straight up in my cape, like, take it off, go throw it somewhere. They can't catch you dressed up in a cape. They're going to be like, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, honestly, they probably think that anyway. Who doesn't? But yeah, I almost got busted this morning, full out in a Traitors cape.
They probably
keep it a secret.
They would have probably given you notice. Like, we will not be back. We think she's crazy. She's wearing capes.
You know what? They didn't give us notice after they found the rainbow dildo that Rob had won at a white elephant party, which made Jake cry when he opened it up. I think we might still be good with the Traitors cape. I don't know. Let's start with breakfast. What better thing to do than to talk about eating food after that tirade?
Yeah.
Tirade, not tyrant. Words are hard on Friday. All right. So we're going into breakfast. Was there a murder? That is the big question, because at the end of the last episode, the plan was to kill Colton, because Colton got his name swishing Lisa around his mouth like mouthwash. We need to spit him out.
There was definitely salmon for sure. Again.
I love Locks. I love him. I would be the bitch that walks in there like, did y'all eat my salmon? It's so good.
I know, but it's mentioned every fucking episode.
I bet it's amazing.
It has to be something.
Makes me want to go there just to try the salmon.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa, she's saying, look, I need to play up being a housewife more since my name is being tossed around. I don't know. What do you think about that strategy?
I think everybody's being themselves. I mean, honestly, if you think about Dorinda, if you've ever watched Dorinda, she's not being a housewife at all. So why isn't anybody suspicious of her behavior? or lack of housewife behavior.
Or the fact that she has Lisa's name in her mouth at this round table tonight, and housewives don't turn on each other. So
And
are you painting a flag on your back?
yeah, all of the things that's targeting Lisa, Dorinda is doing the exact same things.
But she didn't vote out Portia night one.
No,
Night
but
one.
okay, stop and think. Lisa didn't know who the other traitors were at that point. And there was valid evidence because Portia talked as if she was a traitor. So if you're looking for somebody on the first night and you're just getting to know these people, you don't really know who to pick, and you've got somebody that says, hey, this person was talking as if they were a traitor, then you would look silly not voting for that person.
And it wasn't only one person. Ron started the charge and other people jumped onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my concern. If Lisa starts changing the way she acts after Colton's brought it up, it's going to look like she's hiding something. If she stays the same, then she can just be like, you don't know me, Colton. But if she starts acting like a housewife, then there's going to be an evident shift in her behavior.
Right. But that in itself should put some suspicion on Rob, because wasn't Rob the only one that Colton said that to at the time?
No.
I thought he was the only one that Colton had said something to before they went to the turret that night.
Maybe you're right. Because they were saying there would be no blood. I don't think it was Rob, though. I think it was Candace.
Okay. Well, I thought he had told Rob. Maybe I'm wrong. But if
It's
Lisa
hard to
starts
keep up,
acting...
because
Right.
Colton can't keep his damn mouth shut. He
Right.
needs to stop telling everybody.
Right.
That-
But if she starts acting different, the suspicion should go in Colton's mind, you would think, to the person that he told that to.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that to Lisa in this episode.
He did.
Because it wasn't until the round table that this happened.
Right.
He had been swishing her around like mouthwash and telling everybody, which that's part of the problem here. If he wants to really make sure he's getting out traitors and not faithful, he needs to sit down on his suspicions, gather evidence, keep his mouth shut, see if it continues to add up, and then say something and strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah. When he discussed it with Dorinda and she was like, yeah, that's not the way Lisa usually acts, it just gave him some kind of confirmation to keep going in that direction.
That's his excuse with Lisa, but what about Tiffany?
Exactly.
What about Michael? That's what they're saying. He keeps changing the game at the last minute. And that is not beneficial. We are getting out faithful. Not that I care. I'm pulling for the traitors. But sit on it. Take some time to test your own theory before you go and you tell the entire house.
He's creating just as much chaos among the faithfuls as Michael.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Just in a different way. But it's also protecting him. Colton is protected by the fact that he is throwing names out so far.
True.
Now, if they do kill him, maybe you say the traitor is obviously trying to pin this on Lisa. Lisa wouldn't do that if she was the traitor. She also wouldn't have killed a housewife. But we will get into that. Let's go back to breakfast. Johnny, he's got this 1930s look with this little cap. He looks great, though.
He outdid Alan this time.
He sure did. He outdid all them bitches. I love the 1930s look. And Lisa, not Lisa, Dorinda's hair, it was very 1950s, very cute. I liked her shirt and everything.
Yeah. Nobody else really stood out to me at breakfast
No.
as far as the way they were dressed.
That's one of my favorite things, though, about traitors is the fashion. As I sit here in a green cape. I could take a hint, right? Absolutely. Help. They do compliment Steven on his plain gray straight band sweater, which was hilarious.
I'm wondering if maybe it was cashmere and that's why it stood out to them.
I think they were just teasing because it was so unremarkable. Now, Johnny says that the only person he can trust who isn't a traitor is Tara Lipinski. And immediately my mind goes, but what if she was a traitor? What if she was a traitor?
Right. And for some reason, the two of them have a strategy of not letting other people know that they're as good of friends as they are. So I'm not quite sure how that's beneficial.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Because if one of them was a traitor, they would want to get the other one out. And we'll talk about that when we get to Colton's genius proposal to Lisa later on. That was totally sarcastic, the genius part. I don't think it was genius.
I got all of the sarcasm that you just threw out. I caught it.
There's so many dum-dums in this house. So the last 4, the ones we have to decide, is there a murder or not? Dorinda, Colton, Yam Yam, and Eric. Which, again, the editors here, of course, these are going to be the last 4 that come in. I was trying to think back. The only time I can remember a traitor walking in with the final 4 was, for example, Lisa, when Lisa was tied to the tree, because there's no suspense in that. The editors want suspense. So I really wonder, are they paying attention to how the editors are sending people into breakfast? Will there be a murder?
I have a little bit of a headache this morning, so I'm just kind of like in La La Land.
I've never been adjusted. Someone needs to fix me, straighten me out. Will there be a murder?
Fuck me, man.
I thought you already got straightened out.
I don't know.
Okay, no, there will not be a murder.
Oh, you wanted me to answer it. I thought you were wanting me to leave it clueless.
For everybody waiting
I
for
was
Dee
doing
to
a good
talk.
job for that.
I'm making an effort, guys. All right.
I don't want to be on camera. So I try and say as little as possible. Sorry.
What if I turn your camera off?
I'd probably talk up a storm, honestly. I don't know.
All right, YouTube, we're going to test
no,
this.
we're not.
and
We're not doing it. I'd probably just sound even stupider.
more stupid.
Yeah. And there's my hick coming out.
Back to traitors.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
How am I the one steering us back on track? Anyway,
I don't know. It's usually me.
they suspect at breakfast that Eric will be the one gone if anybody is gone, because that fits the traitors' modus operandi, MO. You hear me say it. That's the method of operating. That is how the criminal is moving throughout this world. What is their MO?
It's very random. They haven't really been able to pin down an MO for this group.
And did you notice when the door opens and everyone walks through, who is the last person to walk in?
Eric.
Editors. The editors put Eric because that's the one that people would suspect would be gone. Well, not us, knowing about the turret talk the night before. And at this point in the episode, the plan is to still kill Colton as soon as they get a chance. Now, Alan says, if you need a cryptic message about today's mission, don't worry, there will be plenty of those later on. Lisa and Yam Yam thought it had to do with crypts, which I was like, oh, my theory is probably absolutely wrong. That sounds right. That sounds smart. Dorinda says, it sounds like an inside mission because inside a crypt.
Yeah, I was thinking something death related.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was over here thinking they're going to have to decode something. And in my notes, I'm like, well, I guess I'm wrong on that. But this is what my thoughts were. And we'll get to the missions, but it kind of had to do with both. We didn't have crypts. We had graves, which is a similar idea.
Yeah.
And we had cryptic messages. So at breakfast, I feel like Colton just kept staring at Lisa like a creeper.
It was a weird stare.
So creepy. He gives such creep vibes.
And his eyes get really big. It's very unsettling the way that he looks at her. I would have been uncomfortable if I was her. I would have been like, what the fuck are you looking at? That's just the kind of person that I am, though.
I probably would have gotten a restraining order like Cassie.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we talking about? I totally forgot about this until this week on social media because I did watch his season of The Bachelor. Like I said, I don't remember watching it, but I did remember a lot of drama. And then it all came flooding back this week. So at the end of Colton's season, he didn't pick anybody because at the very end of the show, Cassie Randolph left, which was his number one. After the show, he did reconnect with her and they started dating. But then they called things off and he got real creepy. He was making fake accounts, messaging her. He put a tracker on her car.
Oh my gosh.
She had to get a restraining order against him. And when they went to go to the hearing, she got the temporary restraining order. When they went to go to the hearing about a permanent restraining order, they came out and said it was settled. And part of the settlement was Cassie wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Interesting.
But yeah, he total stalker after that. And then a year later, he came out. And when they asked Cassie about it, she really didn't have any comment because she had been through some traumatic stuff with him. Apparently, allegedly, part of the condition for being on Traitors that was added into his contract, again, just read this somewhere on the internet. I can't even remember where, but part of the condition was that they wouldn't ask him about Cassie.
Who wouldn't? Like people on the show or?
Right.
Oh.
They wouldn't talk about it. You know, but if the people on the show talked about it, they would cut that out the edit, but the producers aren't going to be talking about it in the ITMs.
That might explain why when he decides to go after somebody, he does it so obsessively. Like, it's like he's a dog with a bone.
Well, I don't think people knew because there were a bunch of TikTok videos about this recently. And just this week, like within the last 5 days, Lisa Rinna commented, "Wait, what?" on one of them. She didn't know.
Oh. Well, I wonder.
And I had forgotten. It's been a long time. But
well, I wonder if Michael may have known that, and that's the reason why he said he was good at hiding things. Maybe it had something to do with that and not even what everybody else at the table and stuff had assumed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good point. You know, Andy Cohen is a host on Bravo. Dee knows who he is. She's a Real Housewives fan. I know who he is.
Yes.
I'm a big Bravo fan. He is friends with Michael Rappaport, and there was an article about him having his friends back after everybody banished him the way they did.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff where people didn't think that it was meant the way that it was taken. So I wonder now, knowing this, if maybe that's the secrets that he was referring to.
Those are some bad secrets. And with that context, remembering what that was happening, and this was in 2020. So, of course, I'm all about pop culture, like what the heck's going on in the world, because nothing's going on in my world.
Right.
Oh my gosh, 2020, Dee and I were like on video calls every day. I'm ordering alcohol for her to go pick up on the side of the road.
To sample.
Like Total Wine, go grab it. She had like this, we're just drinking, looking at statistics online.
We were sampling the wine.
Looking at the pop culture stuff. So yeah, now that I remember this, some of this stuff comes differently when I'm watching this show with Colton. And that's one of them. It's such a creeper stare.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there wearing that stupid denim button down Pac-Man ass sewed on shirt. Like there's this like blue Pac-Man sewed onto his shirt. What? Can somebody help him with his fashion?
Look, he don't need to be owning none of the Pac-Man stuff. That's completely out of my generation.
Last week, it was that stupid country western sweater vest with no shirt underneath.
That was so ugly.
I prefer Alan's Big Bird outfit over what Colton's wearing.
Colton has no fashion sense.
Not a lick of it.
Stephen asked, does anybody have any reason to think that Ron is not a traitor?
When Lisa said no, I was like, if you don't have to say anything, don't say anything. And don't push for Ron to be the traitor when they're going to potentially use that at the round table. Knowing Lisa, she's not going to say it at the round table, but they'll be like, oh, you said it before. And then you find out he's a faithful.
Yeah. Well, it was probably one too many no's if she was going to speak up. And the other thing is, the traitors had decided collectively amongst themselves that that's who they would vote out.
So let the other ones figure it out.
Right.
Especially if they're leaning in that direction. And it's Ron. We're not trying to swing new votes here. And I completely skipped over the part at breakfast where Colton starts talking to Dorinda. Like, nothing like eggs, bacon, and a glass of Lisa Rinna is a traitor for breakfast. Telling her to watch out and also telling her, look and see who takes her side.
I just think it's interesting that his whole concept, again, is behind this housewives stick together, and you're sitting there saying all this stuff to a housewife. It doesn't make any sense. That's not smart.
But Dorinda's eating it up. She's like, yeah, I agree. Lisa's a traitor because she stabbed a housewife in the back, says the pot to the kettle. Going back to Lisa going, no, Ron is definitely a traitor. Colton immediately jumps in He thinks it's a setup, and you have to think, what if Ron gets up there and says he's a faithful? He's calling Lisa out this episode. Same thing when he came in and she didn't have the glasses on. And he goes, oh, isn't it convenient you're not wearing your sunglasses? Now I can look you in the eye.
Right. What are these people sitting at this table listening to him say these things thinking?
He's setting them up, not sitting there quiet, looking and making sure he has a solid case against the traitor. He's just throwing everything he can at the person he thinks is a traitor to see if it sticks.
That's what Kristen had said.
Look at her sitting there saying Ron is a traitor. So if Ron ends up being faithful, he can sit there and pin it on Lisa. She was absolutely convinced he was a traitor. There is no way that he wasn't. Everybody is sitting in one of the little library rooms, and we see the Ron and Rob introvert chess match, which was very cute. And my heart did get really big for Rob right here, connecting with Ron. I feel bad for Ron. He is asking Rob what's going to happen next week because I'm not going to be here. So go ahead and tell me. They're voting me out tonight. And Rob says, well, things can change on a dime, so don't think that way. Then Rob asks Ron, have you heard my name being tossed around? What did you think of that question?
I thought that it was not a smart thing to say. I wouldn't have asked.
I agree. Ron makes some of the most logical arguments at the table. He is great at picking up the evidence and putting it down. It seemed to come out of nowhere. And Ron also has his back against the wall. So if the heat starts coming at him, what wouldn't stop him from saying, I thought it was interesting, but you guys should know that Rob asked me out of the blue if I've heard anybody mentioning his name.
You could tell it immediately registered with Ron because he looked up from the chessboard and gave Rob this look. And I was like, oh no, you've gone too far. But then Ron just went ahead and went along with it instead of.
Well, Rob tries to backpedal. He's like, oh yeah, people just think I'm a stupid country boy from Alabama, which again, so are you saying you're a traitor? Like people think I'm too stupid to be a traitor? What are you saying here?
It kind of sounded like he was insulted that nobody thought he could be a traitor. That they're just seeing him as this stupid country boy from Alabama.
And at this point in the show, I'm thinking, okay, no, he's not stupid. But by the end of this episode, I'm like, no, you are a stupid boy from Alabama. I know you don't agree, but we will get on to that. And Ron, he's like, no, you're smart enough to be a traitor.
And you'd be a great traitor.
It was the oddest conversation. It's like, are you trying to tell him you're not dumb and you could actually be a traitor? But I get what you're saying. He's like insulted.
Yeah.
And as Ron starts to go into no, you would be a great traitor, he almost immediately backs off and changes it to, I love the way you represent the South. You're a guy that's about family. Like he starts complimenting Rob. It's like he's going to tell him what a great traitor he is. And then he immediately backs off because you're right. It's like he gets it. He's made that connection. And in my notes I wrote, oh my God, is Ron going to bring this up at the round table tonight? So I thought we were on risky ground there, but I still didn't think Rob was stupid at this point.
Ron and Rob like each other. So I think it might have been something that Ron would have put in a back pocket and pull it out at a later time. If he needed to, he would have probably went along with him a little bit.
Well, Ron, day one, he had to come in on Portia. But if his back's against the wall, he thinks he's going home. He just told Rob, I'm going home. That's ammo. Why are you handing him ammo?
It is. And for some reason, people listen to Colton, and I don't think they would listen to Ron. They've been against Ron from the very first episode. Anything that he would say would just be completely overlooked. I don't think they would have paid any attention to him.
They talk about that in the round table. So we start to see the coup forming. Johnny has an idea. Johnny thinks it's Colton. And he gets in a room with Tara, Mara, and Mark. And then Kristen. Kristen wanders in there like, yeah, get over here. At this point, if you've got 8 players, you control the round table. So if they can get 8 people together, they control the way that the house goes. Mark agrees. that Colton's on his list. His short list is Ron and Colton. And at this point, we only have these 5 people in a room. We hear the name Colton swishing around. And in my notes, I wrote down, if only one of the other 3 people they need, because they need a team of 8, if only one of those people is a traitor, then they're going to have what they need to swing the vote to Colton. Because remember, the plan is to kill Colton tonight. Whether you get rid of him earlier in the day at the round table or you kill him later. Now, we're starting to see Colton spitting out Lisa's name, so the kill option is looking more and more dangerous. But this is brilliant. There's 5 people in here with Colton's name in their mouth. They're going to add 3 more. If only one of those people is a traitor, then you cleanly get rid of Colton and it wasn't your idea. So I'm sitting here like, yes, this is going to work out. They don't have to murder him tonight. They don't have to make it sus. This will be a clean break. And they have reasons. Colton has been recklessly throwing out names. He's just throwing things at the wall to see if they stick. That's what Kristen said. And then there's control. He's the ringleader. He's trying to control it. These are the same points that Colton made at the round table about Tiffany.
Exactly the same.
And now you've got 5 people sitting in a room thinking you're a traitor because you exhibit those characteristics you used to get rid of Tiffany. So Johnny then says, all right, let's add Steven, Candace, Eric, and Rob. So that's 4 people. So we've got 9, which I'm thinking, done deal. That's it. That's all you need. But what did you think about adding 4 instead of 3? You only need 8.
I thought it was a good idea. They're tired of Colton trying to run everything, and this is their way of finally trying to get organized and all be on the same page. The roundtables have been chaotic. There's always somebody's name thrown out at the last minute that has everybody teetering. They can't sit down and discuss it amongst themselves before they go to the round table. So I thought the concept was a good idea.
Now, if you put more people on the group, though, then you have more chances that you're going to have a traitor in there.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. The more there are, the more likely that you're going to have a traitor in that group.
Now, and I don't know. Channel surfers, what do you think? Is it a good idea to have more? Maybe that way, too, if somebody doesn't want to do the vote, you'll have enough. Although in this instance, they didn't ask Candace. Because Candace has been walking around going, Ron, 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 Ron. If she would have kept her damn mouth shut, they would have gone to her. And I have some other thoughts on that as well. But Colton and Natalie, they're going to go have a little chit chat because Colton's ready to tell the world one at a time that he's thinking Lisa. He's holding this name. It's Lisa. And Colton says, I want Lisa. Natalie gets it. She goes, yeah, it's like an unspoken thing that you don't go against a housewife.
Well, after this season, people will no longer be able to make that assumption in the future.
Well, why?
In the past, they've been saying that they're not traitors because they don't turn against the housewives. Just forget it. I can't explain what I'm trying to say. So
if you don't go against a housewife, you're not a traitor. So if you do go against a housewife, you're a traitor. And Lisa went against a housewife and she's a traitor.
I said it wrong. Sorry. It's okay.
I was like, am I just not getting it? Because that happens. That happens a lot. As this blonde hair might not be natural, I still definitely have those blonde moments.
I have them, but nobody sees them coming because I'm a brunette.
Because you don't color your hair blonde.
That's right.
Dorinda in the kitchen going against a housewife. So maybe that's your point, actually. Dorinda's going against a housewife. She's sitting there telling a whole group, Lisa didn't vote for Donna, and she's acting angelic. Yeah, Candace was in that group. So then everybody's migrating around. At some point, Ron has joined in the Colton and Natalie little group. I don't know if they were still talking about Lisa, but Candace, Lisa, and Dorinda, the housewives, walk into the room together, and Colton and Natalie are sitting there on the couch with Ron. Colton says, oh, look, the housewives are sticking together. How convenient. Glad you weren't wearing sunglasses today so I can look into your eyes. Lisa's like, what the fuck are you talking? What do you mean? Look into my, like, you're staring at me like a creep. I wish you would be wearing housewives. I wish you'd be wearing sunglasses. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Colton, go put some sunglasses on because your staring
Yeah.
is creeping me out.
Yeah, he's got the same creepy, wild-eyed looking stare at her that he did with her at breakfast. It's weird. It's just
Look, Lisa might be a
It's
traitor,
cringy.
but she's scared. She's like, why do you want to look into my eyes?
well, I'm
He
for
says,
the
so I can
traitors.
see my future. Was he trying to be flirty? Or is he like saying, so I can see that you want to murder me in your eyes? Because
I
even
don't
if I
know.
wasn't a traitor, at this point, I would want to murder you, Colton.
Well, yeah. How is she even supposed to respond to that? What's that even supposed to mean?
At this point, the way that Colton is playing, one strategy Lisa might be able to use is to get defensive and say, I need to be defensive. He keeps getting the rest of the faithfuls out. As soon as he spits out their name, they're gone. So, yeah, I need to defend myself. I'm a faithful. And he's just trying to get another faithful out. And I'm worried and I'm scared, not because I'm a traitor, but because look at what he did to Tiffany and Michael. And he did it to someone else. I'm losing count. At this point, I was thinking about Johnny's plan, and I wrote down it's actually a good thing that Lisa has not been picked for the group of 8, because that way the other traitors can help encourage the group to get out Colton, and then Lisa keeps her hands clean. In fact, what would have been smart is for them to vote with 8 to get Colton out, because they're going to murder Colton anyway that night, and then have Lisa defend Colton at the round table. And say, I don't like you. I don't know if you're a traitor. You might just be an idiot who, like Michael, is distracting all of us. But at this point, that's where my head is.
I don't think any of these people are doing a very good job of actually thinking about it logically. We have a lot of emotional thinkers in this episode, in this
That's
season.
a good point.
Yeah. They
That's
all
a
seem
good
to
point.
They all seem to be voting based on how they feel about things and not a logical deduction of the situations.
Well, these aren't the gamers. They got rid of the gamers. But you're right. Rob's tactics were emotional. They were not logical to me. So Rob, Tara, Dorinda, and Colton, they're driving to the mission. And Colton says, I really trust everybody in this car. And you guys need to know, if I'm not here tomorrow, it's Lisa. I'm thinking, Candace and Rob, you really need to convince these people to vote Colton out and like let Lisa look pretty innocent. Like,
Right.
I don't know if Colton's a traitor, but he's stupid.
One of Colton's strategies was, I'm going to throw it out there. I want you to watch and see who defends her.
Right.
You know, move the conversation away from her.
Right.
And he's asking a housewife.
In the car, Colton asks Rob what he thinks. And Rob's answer, it's plausible. It could be Lisa. It's plausible. At that point, I'm on board. I'm like, he's not making an argument against Lisa. He doesn't say a lot anyway. So just this short, it's plausible. That's a great answer. So good. But then I'm also thinking Rob's in the IDM saying Colton's one of his strongest allies. So
What
we could
is
have
he
problems.
thinking? I don't understand why, because
I don't
he's
either.
a traitor and he knows that Colton's a faithful. So how can it be a strong ally? Like, why are you thinking that way? That's not good. That's not good.
And I was thinking the same thing when Colton, he's going to go up to Lisa and say, I've got a proposal. You protect me in the turret. I'll protect you at the round table. How does it work? And Lisa, he's, what? Like, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm not a traitor. Well, I'm not a traitor. But how does that work? Because if you're faithful and you make it to the end with a traitor, you don't get any of the money. So where in any strategy is it a good idea to partner with a faithful and get rid of your other traitors? Unless your other traitors are being messy and sloppy, and maybe you think you can do this on your own. But you've got more people to take the fall for you and to protect you at a round table if you keep the traitors in there. Yeah, that's the part I don't understand about the strategy. If a faithful is in the end, the traitor gets nothing. If a traitor is at the end, the faithful gets nothing. So at some point, you've got to turn. And who are they going to believe? At that point, will they Like, will they believe Colton? If Colton starts getting traitors out and then it comes down to Rob and Colton, and Rob is turning on Colton, and Colton's got out 3 of the traitors, he gets out Lisa and then presumably Candace. Who are they going to believe, Rob? The person who's been quiet, not saying much, or Colton, who's leading the charge against the traitors? Not a smart strategy, in my opinion. So yeah, I didn't understand that.
No, but Lisa could use it and turn it around.
What do you mean?
That he tried to negotiate this deal and be like, I'm a faithful. Only a traitor would come to me with something like that.
But would a traitor go to her and say, you protect me at the turret? The fact that it's one-on-one makes that harder, makes Colton look more faithful, because why would a traitor one-on-one go to somebody and say, protect me at the turret, when they're the one in the turret?
True. I see what you're saying. I just think he's so diabolical with this shit that he can turn anything around.
Just let the people do what they're doing. They already suspect him. We go to the cabin. And I love Alan's outfit here. He has a yellow sparkle tartan kilt with a jacket. And then there's animal prints all over it. That was cool. I liked that. And this cabin, everybody's like, oh, this is so creepy. This is so scary. Y'all, this would be like a $300,000 house in Charleston. And I'm not talking about downtown Charleston. It would be even insanely more expensive than that. People would like to live in this house. You could reno this thing. I see potential. I don't know what they're complaining about. What did you think?
I was thinking, once they got in there and everything started, I was like, this is like right out of The Conjuring.
Okay, yeah. Before everything started, though, I was like, not a bad place.
No, it was cute.
I could live there.
From the outside.
I could clean it.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a traitor. And Alan says, as unfortunate looking as this is on the outside, it's even worse inside. I did not expect all the craziness, but he was right. What do you think was worse? The outside of the cabin, or once you get outside and go to the graveyard, the hands popping out of the freaking graves?
You know what? I'm going to say something really silly. This just shows you how my brain works. I'm sitting there wondering, how are they getting the hands to pop out of the graves? Like, is there a whole, like,
well, those are
room
real dead
underneath?
Those
Is
are
there like,
zombies.
no, I know they're not, but no, seriously, I'm like, is there like a whole room underneath and then there's like hands that pop up, or is it something mechanical that they've just buried in the ground and they automatically, like, I'm looking at this stuff. I'm so distracted by these hands coming up.
They look like real hands.
Yes.
Especially the end where one of them is like messing with Lola dog.
Yeah, trying to feed the dog a little treat.
Yeah, I think last season they said the dog's name was Lola.
Yeah. So I was very distracted with the hands. Every time they went out to the graveyard, I was just like, oh, how are they doing these hands?
I think there was a person in there. I would not want that job. It creeped me out. I thought that was creepier than inside the cabin. It was hard. That's a hard one. Channel surfers, what do you think? What's creepier? Being inside the cabin or watching hands pop out of graves? Like real hands. No. So, yeah, cryptic clues. They've got to decode it, figure out who's in the backyard. They've got 30 seconds to go stand in front of the right grave. So the first one, I thought that one was so cool. I was really excited about this. There's this dirty table, which I don't care. Don't bother me. And there's letters all over it, and there's a sugar bowl. And all of a sudden, the sugar bowl starts moving across the table to the letters like a Ouija board. I was like, this is so cool. It's a decode the letters. So they come up with the name Louise, and then they get CLAK. And Ron yells out Clark. And then a B pops up. I'm like, no, it's black. Like immediately, I'm like, it's black. And then the traitors run outside. Not the traitors.
Faithfuls. Well, the door has already popped open. So 2 of them are on the run thinking that it's Clark, and the rest of them realize that it's black. So they're trying to yell at them and tell them, it's black, it's black. And they're outside looking for Clark because they can't hear them.
And it's Tara and Candace because they're the most scared to be in there. Also, little side note, one of the graves has 2 shields in it. And they're at the table and they're saying, does everybody agree no shields? And Lisa actually is like, no, I I don't know that we should agree to that. But Natalie screams out, if anyone takes a shield, we banish them. What are your thoughts on that?
That was a pretty bold move. I also think that it might potentially be something that a traitor would actually say.
Wouldn't it? And nobody's even questioning her.
Nobody's questioning it.
Also, this isn't the first time we've seen the faithful agree to not take shields. At some point in the game, especially as the numbers dwindle, you got to start taking shields. But I don't know that it helps the traitors' game to not take the shield. It's giving less discussions at the round table.
True. Good point.
But if people take shields, I don't know. Because if people take shields, you can't murder them. So if you have traitors taking shields, then their argument is, I'm not getting murdered because I have a shield. If no one takes shields and people keep avoiding getting murdered, especially like Rob, he would be the MO for what the traitors are doing right now. Because he's like a quiet player. So if Rob is getting shields, you know why he's not being murdered. It could go either way. That's one of the things about this game is it could be twisted either way. Honestly, let's look at what Colton has against Lisa. She wears the sunglasses. She voted for Portia. She's not acting like the Lisa he would expect. And Dorinda, who knows her outside of this game, agrees. He's got a pretty strong argument for Lisa. I hate to say that.
Well, I'm not saying that it's not necessarily strong, but I'm just saying that the same thoughts could apply to Dorinda. I don't know Candace's.
Absolutely.
I don't know
But
Candace.
Dorinda's not wearing sunglasses.
Well, I don't think that's unusual. I mean, look at me. I mean, I wear tinted glasses for all of these, but it's because of the lights, and I have eye issues because the lights that we use.
And there's probably lighting on set, so maybe.
Right.
But then again, Lisa films all the time without glasses.
Right. Well, I don't know that. I haven't seen her.
Does she
for a
wear
while.
sunglasses on Real Housewives all the time? No.
The first few episodes, I even commented, not all of the glasses that Lisa has been wearing have been sunglasses. She's been changing out regular glasses. I wouldn't think it too suspicious because she's been changing all of her glasses. If it was just she's only wearing sunglasses, it would stick out a little bit more, sunglasses.
I think it's that she's wearing them indoors and she's not sitting in front of a computer like you, which you do it to protect your eyes. But
Right.
I get it because poker players do that. They wear glasses to keep you from reading them. Anyway, back to the game. Tara and Candace, they stand in front of Louise Clark, which is not the right answer, and they do not get the money. And it creeped me out a little bit that this was L. Clark, my initials. Don't like seeing that on the grave. Anyway, so the next one, the lights go out, and then when they turn back on, there's this chick with hair that seriously needs a keratin treatment. And blood dripping all down her, screaming. Did she just see what her hair looked like? Because that was the scariest part of her to me.
I don't think I would have been able to sit in a room with a person screaming at me like this person was. It was, and
I
you
scream
could
at
see,
you all the time.
I not
I
like
talk
that.
in that level.
It was scaring the shit out of Dorinda. You could tell Dorinda was like, every time this woman screamed, Dorinda was screaming, and it was just sheer
bad
terror.
Hair. She is like that girl. That was the fluffy hair. She needs some help. She needs to go to the hair place and get a Brazilian blowout. That's a Real Housewife would be scared too. That is my take. So the blood drips down the wall when the lights come back, and there's a message which says Master of None. And then there's some letters underlined that spell out stone. So Jack of all trades, Master of None, Jack Stone. And Yam Yam and Mara run out. Now, Yam Yam's the only one we see that's like, should we get a shield? He's feeling the pressure.
He's wanting a shield.
And at least he said it. Mara's like, no, you idiot. They're going to banish us. Which, if somebody says Yam Yam's name, then Mara could say, well, he actually wanted to take a shield. So
this game is hard.
Well, they're making it harder by sitting there and saying things like, you take a shield, you get banished. All right, faithfuls, if you need to protect yourself, we're going to banish you. Mara actually thinks that Yam Yam is the traitor because he wants the shield. To me, that just shows that he's so scared of being murdered that he's like, going to risk the banishment. He thinks he's going to go either way.
Well, maybe she should have taken a page out of Michael's book, because that's all that man wanted was the shields every time they did the missions, and he was a faithful. So that reasoning would be knocked out if you looked at that.
If he wants to take a shield and get cut, to me, you're desperate. Your back is against a wall. So that Mara went and thinking with her thinking cap. The next one, we got chess pieces popping off the board, and then we get to the part which, ugh, the bugs. The bugs.
Oh.
Ugh. That was the scariest part of this whole thing. Ugh. Sorry. Then there's a typewriter. And it says that Dorothy is 3 years younger than Daphne. And Deidre, something about Daphne when she's Deidre's age will be half the something. The point is, who is the youngest sister? To me, that was so easy. Like, Dorothy is 3 years younger than Daphne, so we know it's not Daphne. And then once Daphne gets as old as Deidre, so Deidre is older than Daphne, it's Dorothy. That was simple. But when Mark and Lisa run out the door, the group is screaming, it's either Dorothy or Deidre. Deidre's the oldest. I don't know. I thought that was a really easy one.
It did not. I always hated those riddles, so I was exactly in the same place as Lisa.
I'm not always great about focusing on what's important, or at least I just like to talk about everything. But there was a lot in there that just didn't matter. All you have to know is Daphne is 3 years older, so it's not her. And then Daphne is not as old as Deidre. So
I was
cut all
just
the other
thinking
shit out.
I was just thinking they could look at the birthdays on the headstones and see which one was
There
the
wasn't a
youngest.
birthday. It was only death dates.
Oh, okay.
It was only death
Well,
dates.
that wouldn't have worked.
Mark and Lisa, they picked the right one, despite the group not having the guidance. And then Eric, we go back to the table and Eric's like, what in the Blair Witch Project is this? That movie scared the hell out of me.
I couldn't watch it. I'm one of those people. I cannot watch IMAX or videos of like home videos if somebody's moving a lot, because I get car sick, and it basically gives me the same effect as being car sick. So I couldn't watch Blair Witch.
I thought you meant because it's scary. You're like, no, motion sickness.
Motion sickness.
In the Blair Witch Project, these people are running through the woods and the camera is just going back and forth. But there's these little stick dolls. Oh, it's so creepy. It's the only thing that reminded me about Blair Witch Project, though, is that this was in the woods. I was like, I'm not seeing any sticks. Those are doll heads. Where's my little brother? Hey, used to pull all the Barbie's heads off. Are you hanging out in this cabin throwing the doll heads at people?
It looked like they took a bunch of different things from different horror movies and kind of combined them all, because there was the chainsaw, there was the girl screaming, there was the bugs, there was the doll heads, the Ouija board.
One.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Which was worse to you about this part? The maggots or the clown popping the blue balloon?
I hate
maggots
clowns, but I have to go with the maggots. I can't stand clowns. I don't like them, but the maggots were gross.
I think Johnny was afraid they were going to drop him from the ceiling because he throws on his hat to make sure they don't come after him.
What were the black bugs that came out of that box?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know what they were, but I definitely knew the maggots when I saw the maggots coming out.
And none of that has to do with the clue. Stuff that grossed us out. The clue is this doll giving letters, and they figure out Birdie see Johnny and Dorinda leave. They get 3,000. The next one, we see some clocks. They decode the word Dale. Colton and Kristen go out. They get the 3,000. Then you see February 14th circled on one calendar, and in March you see the calendar start to burn. Valentine's spring. Natalie and Steven, they run out and get that answer. And that's it. They've gotten $15,000. They've got 5 out of 6 graves with $3,000 a pop. So not bad. And then there's little Lola sniffing the treats. So on the way back, John says to Rob and Eric that at least he's going to be seeing his kids and his girlfriend soon. And he wishes he could stay because he's really starting to like everybody. When they're in the house, he was saying this is the best they've worked together as a team. So he's starting to feel connected.
Yes, he's hard.
And Rob's having a hard time here. His head is saying Ron, but his heart is going another way. And when he said that in the ITMs, I was like, is he about to throw Lisa under the bus? That's the first time I realized we can't trust Rob. Now, this is interesting. Ron has come out since this episode and said that he actually is autistic, which everybody has been saying he's not connecting with the house. This is suspicious. And he keeps defending himself, saying it's not, it's part of his diagnosis. But he also said that Dorinda said some really horrible things to him. So
That's not cool.
That's really sad. I really like Ron. He is so smart in this game. He is playing, marching to the beat of his own drum, regardless of what everybody is saying. He's being himself.
I just think he's a person who has integrity, and he's been true to himself in how he's playing the game. And whether other people see it that way or not, he can't do anything about that.
And he's smart. The arguments he makes, he always brings receipts. Like, yes, Portia on night 1 was not a traitor, but he had reasons. Not just, I feel this way, but she said something that
he laid down valid facts.
Right. Logical arguments. I appreciate that. It's not like Colton just talking about his feelings. So they get back to the house, and I'm starting to feel good about this because we see Johnny telling Mark, we need to go for Colton and we need to get him out swiftly. In the kitchen, Dorinda has claimed Rob as her traitor's husband. And then somebody screams out, but Mara loves him, which that's what I said. Mara and Rob got a little something. And Dorinda's like, I can't compete with that.
I'm out of here.
Rob's looking pretty proud, like my mama raised me right. See, all the ladies want me. Rob is in this group. Lisa and Candace are in it too. And he says, I think Ron is telling the truth just from the conversations I've had. You know what, Rob, if you would have just kept your mouth shut about these people you like, it wouldn't look like you're turning on them.
Yeah, you can see it register on both of their faces. Lisa and Candace, neither one were happy when he said that. They're just like, how could you?
And then Johnny approaches Rob. In IGMs, he's like, they're planning a coup. And he's telling Johnny this is crazy and saying that he's thinking Colton is telling the truth. You fucking vote with them to save Lisa, you dumbass. At this point, Johnny and Mark have decided not to go to Candace because she's in the other room saying, oh, it's Ron. It's definitely Ron. And they're thinking they're not going to change her mind.
Rob is just really,
Stupid.
He's emotional as far as his decisions. But he said something, and I thought that makes total sense for his behavior. He said, I know I'm a traitor, but I feel like I'm faithful. So he's definitely playing with his emotions. He's very conflicted, I think, with the fact that he's a traitor when he wants to be a faithful.
Riddle me this, though, Dee. The plan is to kill Colton tonight.
I know what you're saying. Just stick with it. I don't know why he agreed to kill Colton other than Colton wouldn't know that it was coming from him, whereas a banishment, he would know that Colton voted for him. I don't know why that makes a difference.
But why does it matter? Because then Colton's gone.
Well, I just said, I don't know why it makes any difference, but I don't know what he's thinking, honestly. The only thing
I'm thinking he's a stupid boy from Alabama at this point.
I think
he's got himself pegged.
He's got himself in a pickle, that's for sure. If he's actually thinking about what he's doing, because, Ron says he thinks 2 and 3 steps ahead. I know. If that's the case, somewhere down the line, who he voted for at the round table could be used in his favor if somebody was saying that they thought he was a traitor and Lisa has already been found out. He can be like, I voted for Lisa.
But he's not the one that brought the name up. He's got Johnny and Mark double teaming him.
I know. The smart thing to have done was to have.
And then he's in a group of 8
Colton.
that controls who leaves.
I totally agree with you on that. I'm just trying to figure out a way for him to salvage what he did.
The only justification we have is what you said. He's playing with his
Yeah, he's playing
his
with
big old
his heart.
stupid heart.
Yes.
What's crazy is that he's not going along with this plan when the plan is also to murder Colton tonight. Colton, we already talked about this, where he pulls Lisa aside and says, instead of trying to banish a traitor, I'm going to try to hold you hostage. And the creeper vibes in that.
What a sicko.
We've already talked about that.
He's getting on my last fucking nerve.
He's so gross.
I want him gone. They didn't want to see Michael there because of the chaos. I don't want to see Colton there.
So we get to the round table and it's quiet. And Ron is just taking this in stride. He's like, all right, well, anyone got anything? We have
Anybody
to use the
else
time.
other than me?
So Mark jumps in with like, yeah, if you have something, let's hear it. And then Colton starts to talk shit. And Ron's like, you know what makes no sense to me is that you've gotten this wrong more than I have. Yeah, I was wrong with Portia, but you were wrong with Tiffany, Portia, and Michael. So it was Portia. He actually jumped on the Portia train. And this makes complete sense. Ron, he doesn't understand why him getting one person out is painting such a big target on his back when Colton's been wrong 3 times. And Colton starts to say something about Michael, and Ron shuts him off. He's like, no, just because everybody likes Portia and nobody likes Michael, that shouldn't count. No, it still counts. You still came after a faithful. Kristen, she's the first in the 8 to jump in and say she wants to hold Colton accountable, especially for Tiffany. And Tara's nodding. So then the 8 all start jumping on Colton. Johnny's jumping in. Mark's jumping in. And Colton's defense is that he plays recklessly and bold. And as a faithful, that's just his strategy. And then Rob, fucking Rob, who sits there and doesn't say much ever, jumps in and says, I believe you, Colton. You're going to murder him tonight. So maybe it's to make it look like you didn't murder him. But you also know this guy is gunning for one of the traitors. And the moment he suspects somebody, he's going to throw him under the bus. Now, maybe that's the game plan. Maybe it's, I defend Colton. He's going to have my back.
Well, nobody would suspect that the best friend of Colton would be a traitor, that he would kill him.
Maybe he's doing this so Colton stays. Maybe he's throwing Lisa's name out there so that they can't murder Colton. It'll be harder.
I want to see Colton gone. At the same time, he's the only chaos left. If they get rid of him, then there's really going to be a lot of eyes starting to look around more, where the chaos that he's creating right now, just like with Michael.
That's a good point. And if they get rid of Lisa, I feel like some chaos will disappear too. Ron, what did you think of his strategy? He said, everybody write my name down. That way I can prove to you that I'm a faithful. And since we have all this time, because you're going to vote me out anyway, I want to go around the table and say something to each of you before I leave. And he just starts saying all this nice stuff. Although when he gets to Colton, he just says Colton's name and goes on.
Well, and he didn't say anything nice to Dorinda, because him and Dorinda have been going at it, or Dorinda's been going at him.
But did he even say her name? He was like naming people and saying something nice, and then he goes, Colton, and then he just keeps naming people and saying stuff nice.
The thing that I thought was interesting about what Ron did is, for the first time, he was convincing. He did sway people's opinions and which way they were going to vote. And I hadn't seen that at a round table before.
Well, they all started talking, and a lot of people were jumping on board that they trust him. And Tara speaks up. She's like, this might get me banished, but it's not Ron. Or it might get her murdered, but it's not Ron. And with that, Colton shifts on to Lisa.
He sees which way the wind's blowing at the table.
And Lisa, she doesn't come back with, I'm not a traitor. She comes, well, kind of. She goes, I think you're a traitor and I'm a faithful, which could look suspicious because she's not saying why. But then again, the tables kind of set it for her, why Colton's a traitor. This is such a close vote. They were all just one apart. And it's Ron with the most, then Lisa, then Colton. And Ron's like, I'm a faithful. So there you go. You've done it again. You've gotten rid of a faithful. Lisa voted for Colton. Candace voted for Ron. Had Candace voted for Colton, then Colton and Lisa would have been tied. Colton, Lisa, and Ron would have been tied. I guess she needed to vote for Ron, because she has to show she's sticking to her guns, but she also knows that Colton is gunning for Lisa.
Right. If I was Candace, when I saw the wind shifting at the table with Ron, I would have jumped on that bandwagon and went to Colton.
Surprisingly, Linda votes Lisa. Dorinda votes for Lisa. I was making up names. Dorinda, that housewife going against a housewife. And then, even more surprisingly, Rob votes for Lisa. I hope that their faces weren't doing what the edit was showing us at the round table, because Candace looked pissed.
Shocking.
Rob has some splaining to do.
Yes, he does. I don't think he expected that many people to vote for Lisa. He was trying to play his own game between Ron and Colton, and his feelings got in the way. And
it wasn't just a vote. He put Lisa's name in his mouth and said he thinks Lisa's a traitor. Now you're going to have people thinking Rob never talks, and he's saying Lisa's a traitor. If I was Lisa and it looks like I'm about to get banished, I would let them know that Rob's a traitor. I'd burn the whole damn house down. Why not?
Do that?
Yes.
I don't know. I wonder what the rules of the game are. Are the traitors allowed to call out?
You're at the banishment. It's going that way. I'd say, you're right. I'm a traitor. You're going to write my name down. Just so you know, Rob is too.
I wonder if they're actually allowed to do that by the rules of the game.
Rob just told the whole table Lisa was a traitor. What's the difference?
They don't know that he's a traitor. He's a faithful as long.
Well, they don't know Lisa's a traitor until they evict her. So if they're sitting at the round table and it looks like it's going against her, and she says, "All right, you're going to write my name down anyway, but just so you know, Rob's a traitor too."
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I was thinking more like as she walks out with everybody knowing that she's a traitor, if she calls out somebody else and says they're a traitor.
I don't know what the rules are there, but
yeah.
If it's like a Ron situation where you know it's about to go against you, I'd call him out. I just think it's too early for the traitors to start turning on each other.
I do too, and I don't necessarily know that it was a sign of him turning on her purposely. He just did an emotional thing.
He never talks, and he has her name in his mouth. You could have just said you don't think it's Colton or Ron and not started an argument about why it's Lisa for like the first time you're speaking ever at the round table.
I see what you're saying.
But I guess that can make him look like he's not a traitor. I just think it's too soon. There's going to be a big banquet tonight, and Johnny is like, don't touch anything. He's right. Don't touch anything.
He's the one they need to watch out for. He's very strategic and good with his processes of trying to find somebody to eliminate.
If you touch it, you die. Lisa is standing at a bar with the girls. She's defending herself to Natalie. She's like, I messed up on the Portia vote. And Candace is like, don't we all mess up? So if they're watching who's defending Lisa, it's Candace. But then housewives don't go against each other.
Right.
So maybe
Mara
it's Dorinda.
did too. Yeah, Mara did too. Mara said, we all make mistakes. And that was when Colton had walked in.
And when Colton walks in, Lisa is like, look, let's have a little talk. I've been in this business for 36 years. I'm not just a housewife. You don't know me. So you need to drop these stereotypes. The one thing I think is suspicious is when she's defending herself, she's not adamantly, wholeheartedly saying she's not a traitor. She's trying to be convincing of why she's not, but she's not like, look, I'm not a traitor. I am not a traitor. You don't know me. This is who I am. I'm a faithful. Would I have made a good traitor? I think so. It would have been fun if they picked me, but it's not me. If I was a traitor, I'd be murdering you tonight. No, actually, don't say that, because I think she should murder him and then say someone's trying to frame her. Anyway, maybe they say Rob is trying to frame her.
That was my thought. Go ahead and kill his ass, and then say someone's trying to frame you. Say the traitors are framing you.
Well, you can't kill Rob.
No.
Oh, no, Colton.
Colton,
no, yeah. Then say Rob, call it one of the traitors. By the end of this episode, I realized I'm not necessarily pulling for the traitors. I'm pulling for Lisa and Candace.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm pulling for the traitors because I love Lisa fucking Rinna.
I'm Lisa fucking Rinna. I love her too.
Yes. And Colton did say something that I thought was pretty stupid on his part. Maybe
Which
I'm wrong.
thing?
About the shields. He's like, if you don't get rid of it, he's like, if the traitor in this room, I'm telling you right now, if you don't get rid of me,
I'm
if you
going
don't
to take
murder
shields
every single.
time.
Yeah. See, I think that puts him on the spot for not just the traitors, but the faithfuls too, because that's not going to be good for them.
So we go to the night before in the turret where Alan tells the traitors that there's going to be a banquet and one of them will have to wear this very beautiful pendant and the first person to touch it dies. And they're like, okay, well, it's not going to be Rob. But if Rob did wear it, he could be like, oh, look at the costume they gave me. Isn't this fancy?
Mm-hmm.
And people might be like, oh, it's so pretty, and touch his chest or something. So I don't know that they couldn't get away with it if it was Rob. But Lisa, again, this is when the plan is murder Colton the next day. And Lisa's like, I'll do it. So this being given to us at the end of the episode, that the night before, Rob knew that Lisa was the one that would be wearing this pendant and killing Colton, just makes everything he did that day make even less sense. And it just makes me more agitated with him. I'm not super agitated because I just don't know that he's smart. But what the heck, Rob? What the heck?
He just looks pretty. Stay pretty, Rob. Stay pretty, Rob.
Stay pretty, Rob. Apparently, he was toxic on his season of Love Island. I don't know. That was Reddit. So, all right. They're getting ready. Lisa's got like this schoolboy outfit with the pendant. She looked like some schoolboy from like the 1930s. Candace, she's got to go put on her headpiece, her dress, and her Spanx, which I feel y'all know Spanx girl.
Yes.
As they're getting ready, they go into the kitchen and Lisa and Candace are like, what the fuck? Rob, what are you doing? I was worried they were going to get caught because you see Johnny and Kristen kind of walking by and maybe we'll find out that they overheard something because Colton's over there saying, but if I went against Ron or Colton, people would know. Not necessarily. You were sitting at a table alone with Ron. Nobody knew that you guys had this magic connection. I digress. But now he and Candace are both doubting whether they should go for Colton. So we end there. We're going to find out what happens next week. Do you think Lisa should go for Colton?
I think she should go for him.
I think she should walk in and say, Colton, look, I thought about this. The fact that you came up to me and said, protect me in the turret makes me think that you probably are a faithful because you weren't doing this in front of people and a traitor wouldn't come up and say, protect me in the turret to somebody that they thought was a traitor. Now, look, I'm a faithful. Just give me a chance. And can we do a truce? Can we hug it out? And then when he goes for the hug, he touches the pendant.
Night, night, bye-bye.
How else is she going to get him to touch it? I don't think he's going to get anywhere near her. The only thing I can think is make a truce and hug it out.
Well, or to just walk up to somebody and say, oh, I think this brooch of mine would look much better on your outfit and like stick it on their clothing or something. And then when they touch it.
But for Colton.
Yeah, I know. She's not going to get any.
Maybe she fakes getting mad at him and throws it at his feet.
Oh. Ooh, that would work.
Colton, I cannot stand you. Boom, at his feet. Or near his feet where he picks it up. It'll be interesting.
Let's hope somebody that they don't.
I hope they don't convince her not to go for Colton. I think she should do it and then say somebody's trying to pin it on her.
Right. I was just thinking I hope somebody that they like doesn't touch it first. Yeah. Because it's going to stand out.
Well, it's going to stand out. What do you mean?
The brooch is going to stand out. It's going to get a lot of attention because it's very, very pretty.
I thought you meant somebody touching it would stand out, which is why you got it. And maybe if she threw it at his feet, that would be more obvious. If he's the one that picks it up.
Yeah. I was just thinking it's so pretty. It's going to stand out and people might want to like touch it to be like, oh, that's so pretty. Where did you get it? Something like that. And somebody touch it that they're not really intending.
My gut feeling is that she doesn't go for Colton. Channel surfers, what do you think? Is Lisa going to try to kill Colton? And if she does, what strategies would you use? Actually, let's ask the tarot before we leave to predict, will Lisa successfully murder Colton? And we pulled the 8 of Swords. This says bats, but it's the Halloween deck, so it's swords. So my gut feeling was echoed by this card, and Dee actually picked the card. This shows that Lisa is going to have obstacles in her way. She wants to act, but she's caged in. Maybe it's Candace, and honestly, it's Rob. It's Rob that caged her in. She also might have anxiety over killing Colton now that they have such a public dispute. So even though she wants to kill Colton, this card shows that her attempt might be blocked or the outcome might be delayed. The power that she thinks she has in murdering tonight, it's just an illusion. So yeah, I don't think Colton's going to go. My gut says that. Our card says that. Maybe they can get him out at the round table if they can stop Rob from running his mouth.
I don't know. If he doesn't get murdered, I'm afraid he's going to convince the rest of the house to get her out at the next round table.
Well, Drake has an opinion too. I hear your dogs are barking at us. That's it. Channel surfers, we will see what happens next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the show with us. Let us know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. I usually throw a link up around here with our Traitors playlist so you can watch other episodes if you've missed any of them. Leave us the 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. We've got TikTok, we got Friday is what we got. Friday Brain, Instagram, Facebook. And we hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday with Sister Wives Tell All. So exciting.
Yes, it's getting good.
Well, I've got a birthday party to prepare Sunday. We're having my friend's 8-year-old's birthday party here at my house. My son has 3 birthday parties to go to tomorrow. And in addition to the one at my house, he's got another one on Sunday. So I've got a lot of stuff to do. Dee, I know you're ready to kick off your weekend. Channel surfers, y'all get kicking on your weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Let's ride.